Hey guys, it's Jason Price here with the Hunting After Dark podcast, my co-host Justin Rumley, and we have a special guest with us today. We have Thomas Craig with Irayusa.
What's up?
Infiray Outdoor, Nocpix.
That's right.
It is all the same thing.
The
this
trifecta.
is the man. So if you have any questions when you start saying about them Irays, this is the Iray man.
Yeah.
Thomas is our rep. So they need to get closer together, sweetheart. Get in the shot. It's okay. You can throw us some direction there.
I gotta move over here.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we're bad about our guest stuff. Well, the thing is that
We'll
live
get
is so
nice and cozy
narrow.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
no,
like I
it's
said,
all
I said before this, we were setting everything up. It's like I can't wait for the new studio, new building. It's January. We're still on time for January.
February.
Can't wait. Yeah, no, we January. We're gonna be in there in January, whether they're done with everything or not. We're gonna be in there in January upstairs
We'll
doing
just sit
stuff. They can hear construction in the background.
That's right. Might as well.
But can't wait for that. But no, Thomas was passing through. He was hanging out in South Texas, so he
That's
came to
right.
say he'd come up and join us on the way back up. So we're sitting here doing this on a Monday. Usually we try to do Thursdays, but we couldn't make that work. So we're here on a Monday, and we got Thomas with us. And I think one of the big topics that we want to talk about is that we had a ton of calls with some brand confusion. Even though I think we've talked about it multiple times, we still get those calls and asking what's going on with the company. So Thomas can reassure you here today as we talk about all these products that they are all still all the same place. We're dealing with the same people. This is my rep that I order all our products from.
We did a little bit of that to ourselves, right, with the naming confusion and stuff. But, well, Jason, first, thanks for having me in on your day off. I appreciate you making time for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it took him a little extra to get up early this morning to be able to make it here.
Yeah, I said, when are you coming in? That way I know when to get out of bed and get ready.
Hey, me too. I was up at 6:30 heading this direction.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
No,
being out late hunting.
You got up at 10 o'clock. You didn't get up early.
Who's that in the background?
Yeah.
Stranger.
That's the little birdie back there.
We got to get Jess, Jess a mic back there.
Yeah, we got to get. Yeah, she's usually the little hype man, but she's out there talking trash today. But no, Thomas is just like this. He is. He goes out and varmint hunts. He goes and runs around. He's out there late at night. He's out there running their products. And so I like to have someone like Thomas on, that lives in this industry. He lives and breathes this just like Justin and I do. So, insights to things. It's always awesome to be able to have somebody like that knows what we're going through.
Yeah, and
That's
it
right.
basically just knows the ins and outs about the scope and what's going to be good for certain customers and, kind of help give us some insight. But, man, it's always nice having somebody that knows and understands the product, let alone just sell the product.
Yeah, anyone can sit there and read off a spec sheet and compare scope to scope, but actually being out in the field with it gives you that kind of leg up. And then I'm able to go and tell people, hey, is this your application? This is what you want, and actually guide them into the right choice. I've got a vested interest in making sure that people like the product that they buy.
Yeah, because it's beneficial for all of us if someone gets the right product that they really wanted and they really wanted to get into. Because otherwise they get mad, they get into complaining, and then they're not happy with the purchase. They spend a lot of money, and so it's just about asking all those questions. Which you and I always talk about that all the time, is asking the right question for the guys. Like this is great for a bolt action rifle. This is great for an AR. This one's lighter weight.
Yeah,
How far shots we taking?
Yeah, rangefinder, no rangefinder. What cartridge are we running? Yeah, these are the things that I like to hit on because we're advisors, not just salespeople, right?
Yes, and it's not always that case, whether they see you at a show or they see us at a show or whatever. We're all kind of telling, kind of asking all the same questions. It's, we're happy to get you set up with something, but, what is going to be the best fit for you and the scope that's going to work and do what you want to do. And there's a lot of stuff out there right now.
Mm-hmm. And the most expensive thing on the table might not be the right choice.
No.
That's what a lot of people, they're like, what's the most expensive unit? And you tell them, they're like, all right, I want that one. I was like, well, all right. I'm more than happy to sell it to you. But are you sure that's going to fit what you're wanting?
What
I'm going to go put it on my 8.5 inch 300 blackout and go put that S60R on there.
Yeah, and it's just like
that scope's bigger than your gun is.
Yeah, or like the Hybrid 75. People gravitate to the Hybrid 75, and it's like that's a pretty niche market. You probably
the 4-base
mag.
If
you're shooting pigs at 50 to 100 yards, probably not what you need.
No, and and that's the thing that's been nice. It's kind of like with their top tier unit being the S60Rs, having a 2-base mag. Magnifier in the eyepiece. I mean, you're kind of, covering all the bases.
That's right. You get that field of view, and you're able to mag in without degrading your image. It really is the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as top of the line stuff, I mean, when people ask us, that's the one that we gravitate to. It's like the days of spending $7,000 on a 50 millimeter 640. That's not there anymore. There's no more of this paying $7,000 for a 5640.
And there's no more of paying 15 to 17,000 for a 1280.
So now you're looking at that $8,000 price point for 1280.
Yeah, that cutting edge technology is becoming a little bit more regular now.
Yeah,
so.
and people are like, you tell them 1280, they're like, well, I'm not looking to spend, 12 to 15,000. So hey, let me tell you something. 7 to 8's what you're looking at for a 1280, and then they're just kind of mind blown, and then they're interested in a 1280 at that point when they were kind of in the 640 market at 6,500. Now that they'll throw in an extra 1,000 to 2,000 to go to the 1280, not really knowing that they were that close, but you do a little education on them, and then they realize, oh hell, I'm gonna get me a 1280. I'm sold.
Yeah, it's like we're starting to see we're starting to get all that warranty is over. The old Trijicon guys, some of these older Envision guys, now they're looking at what's the newest and latest and greatest thing.
Time to upgrade.
Yes, and then me, I'm a big AR guy, but the long range guys are not always shooting ARs. They're shooting bolt action rifles, and what is ideal for that? I mean, wasn't our buddy Blake who was sitting there with his Halo? Like somehow he was able to get that Halo far enough back where he had enough eye relief on his bolt action. But
he was all about it, man.
But all the rest of us, it was hard. It's like we couldn't really get into it. Didn't have enough eye relief. So now it's kind of like the era of the scope style traditional look for bolt action shooters.
That's pretty much my first question when I'm trying to advise somebody on which scope configuration to look at. It's like, are you running a bolt gun or are you running a gas gun? That's maybe the easiest way to designate.
That's usually one of the first questions. I ask guys, okay, what are we looking at? We're looking at gas gun. We're looking at bolt action, and then you can kind of decipher your move from there on which way is going to fit the customer the best. Because a lot of times, like I tell people, as much as it doesn't matter, putting a compact unit on a bolt action gun is not really frowned upon, but it's not something that people like to do because of the look. Not that the look matters, but at that point, they rather just go with the traditional tube style look. Versus a compact style.
Well, you got a lot of changes there. If someone decides, hey, I'm just gonna go get me a new Ruger, or I'm gonna go get a new Savage, or I'm gonna go do some MTD stocks, or I'm gonna go do Boyd stocks, or something. Something that's more custom and just changes up, and it's not that. What do you call those little guns that they have, like those PRS type guns? With all the adjustable crap on it.
Oh yeah,
adjustable
chassis,
yeah.
Ruger Precision,
yeah, right.
Or whatever it may be, or some of the SIGs doing some of that too. But those guns, it changes. There's a change in those bolt actions of where eye relief is hitting. Where your stock's going to hit. The adjustability of some of that. Some of them can do it, some of them cannot, and it's just. What's going to be the best fit? You're just like, well, something that's going to have the eye relief that you're not going to have any guesswork when you go buy a new gun. You may not have that gun right now. This may give you an excuse to go get a new gun, I guess, if you go with a compact that doesn't quite give you enough eye relief. But, the scope styles, it's kind of like the era of the scope style, I think, is a lot of stuff that's going on right now when we look at a lot of these guys and then when we start looking at some of y'all's products.
Yeah. And like the Ace, it's got that 30 mil tube. So if you're fond of a particular type of rings, like your spur mount or your D-lock, or you guys sell a lot of the Bobro stuff, if you've got a mount that you're dedicated to, then that 30 mil tube gives you that much more.
Yeah, I mean, we had somebody the other day that was just adamant that they wanted the lowest profile that they could get down to their barrel.
And see, I've done it. Like when I was running the TX60, I went and got a good set of scope rings and dropped it as close to bore as I possibly could. But then it's just like you tell yourself, all right, I'm never going to take that scope off that gun. I'm going to sight it in. I'm going to leave it. Well, then a couple weeks later, you're like, shit, I want to take that scope off and put it on this new gun I got. And then so it just kind of becomes a hassle versus you get you a good QD mount, and it just makes it life that much easier.
And there's a lot of good options out there right now on the QD mounts.
Yeah. Right. And most of these scopes have multiple zero profiles, right? So it's like almost you are encouraged to maybe put them on multiple guns. So.
Now that's the thing is like, you want to be able to utilize all the capabilities that the scope has. So it's just like, why not take it from this gun and put it on this gun? Yeah. And then, at the end of the day, you might not use this gun as much as this one, But if you needed to take it off, put it on this gun for whatever reason, you don't have to go back and sight it in. You've already got the profile created for it.
Your tube style is going to give you that easier adjustment on the eye relief, so it's a little bit more compatible. Maybe you could run it on top of a flat top AR, no problem. Whereas like your compact style, you might have to go with a different mounting solution, right? Like a Bobro or something. I know you guys back them pretty good.
And that's what I like about the tube style as well, is like you mentioned, it's all compatible with each other. You can go throw it on AR platform. You can go throw it on bolt action platform. You can go throw it on SBR. It may look a little goofy on the SBR, but will it work just fine? Yeah, absolutely. So that's the nice thing about the tube styles. That's one thing that I tell people that has the edge over the compact unit is the tube style is going to fit on any platform you want it to. Compact style, there may be a little issues here and there. And, if you're wanting to go different routes with your weapon system, I would lean a little bit more towards the tube style.
If you're on the fence,
yeah, because me running the ARs, like I always gravitate to. I like the compact units, but the thing is, what am I sacrificing? Let's say within the Nocpix brand, of what you guys have, what am I sacrificing for that? Yes, maybe I'm getting a little bit cheaper price, but I'm losing some different features. Like with the Ace, I'm losing some of that magnifier at the eyepiece from the optical type zoom. I'm giving up integrated LRF, in some of these compacts. It's like saying like the Slim, something like the Slim. But I'm gaining some utility with the Slim. We've had a lot of interest in Slim lately, especially in the H35, of being able to take it and use it as a handheld with a 2-base mag. Like that's been awesome. But it's like, which one do you want, guys? Like, you kind of want to save a little money. Do you want to bump up a little bit and gain some things?
Right.
What's the most value for your money and what you want to kind of go for? But like me running the AR, I like a lightweight platform. But a lot of people don't realize, like, I may run the Slim on a gun, and I prefer that because it's extremely lightweight with the AR and trying to reduce weight. But I actually probably have a handheld that I'm more than likely are using to go scan for everything, or they may have a rangefinder in it, so that I can kind of take advantage of everything in the field that I can use. But if somebody's like, I've already got my handheld, I don't have the capabilities, like you may want to look at bumping up to something, even if you are running the AR platform. It's, just a ton of options of what's going to fit in there. It's like me, I have my personal preference of what I like to go run. But, we're always running a handheld too. Or Justin's with me or something like that. He can go range a target for me. I'm like, all right, let's get a little closer.
Yeah,
let's
it's like you sacrifice one in, but trust me, we're making it up somewhere else. Especially, like I said, if you're running a dedicated unit without the rangefinder, one of us has got something with the rangefinder, so we know our distances. Because like I tell people, depth perception at night, no matter if you're running a 5640 or 35 384, it's going to be hard to judge. And that's just one thing.
We had some big open cornfields here.
Yeah, and if you're hunting places that you're very familiar with and you don't plan on leaving that, then yeah, of course, a unit without a rangefinder is probably going to fit you best. But if you're going to be bouncing from place to place, and yardages vary from 50 yards to 550 yards, then you're going to kind of want a rangefinder from there.
Yeah. Well, last night, perfect example. We're looking at these pigs out there, and we're trying to figure out which angle of the field do we want to come in on to maximize our efficiency here. Not just with the wind, but also with yardage. So we're hitting them with the rangefinder from the truck going, okay, they're 550 from right here. We know that fence line's at 700, so we need to probably get on that side of them.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about having a rangefinder, because, at the end of the day, if you didn't have one, hell, you wouldn't have knew that they're 550 yards.
Yeah, it's just, even with all the advances in thermal sensors and being able to take in the environment and stuff, it's still sometimes, particularly in like high humidity when we're out hunting, it's a little tricky to see how far something is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I had a pup come in, some young one out of the den is running around this cornfield, and he's just watching me. I mean, I'd shot a pig on one side, I was trying to go to another too, and I was like, man, this is just too tempting. This coyote is literally just sitting on his ass watching me.
He looked like a little rat.
Yeah, so I was like, is that coon? Like he was out there already about 200 yards out. So I was like, I got up in the rack. I'm like, he's still sticking around. He's like running back and forth. He doesn't know what to think out here. So I got all set up, got the gun ready, and I was ready to go, and I go, and I'm like, I knew he was 200 yards in the handheld. Now I've got him in the scope. Now he's kind of moving around a little bit. I'm like, he's like 230. So I shoot, and I miss, and it like hits in front of him, and so he takes off and runs a little bit, and then he starts darting back. I'm like, shit, he's going further and further away. I was like, I have no idea now if he's 250, if he's 300, or what. I finally got a rangefinder on him again, but it's also going in like corn stalks and like we had so much rain here. We had like knee-high grass that he's going in and out of, so I'm barely able to just kind of see him. And then he got to that perfect spot, gave me one last little broadside, and I got that rangefinder. I left it on consistent laser rangefinding, And so it's on continuous. And so it's continuously getting ranges. And he stood broadside just long enough. I got like 250. I'm like, all right, I'm going to put about this much above his back and shoot. And I shot, and I was like, I knew he was small, but I mean, he was literally a pup. He'd be lucky if he weighed 15 pounds. I mean, he was just this scrawny little runt. And I was like, how did I shoot him that far away?
Hey,
Like that, me, it's a personal record. I don't do that all the time. I'm shooting an AR, and I'm like, I usually want him under 200 yards.
Yeah, that's sharp shooting right there.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm by myself. I'm like, yeah, hell, we're just gonna fucking send it and see what happens. And
Yeah, you might as well at that point
but
if he's out there.
without that rangefinder, I was like,
You had no idea.
I've been throwing it in the dust and just guessing.
Yeah, is it a big dog at?
I mean, and that's the
at
thing too, is the
200
size
yards?
of them. You know, that's the thing is the size is like, if I didn't have the rangefinder, it's like in this big open cornfield, I don't know what row and what stalk this is. And there's no
Right.
fence around. He's just in a big open field.
You know, you mentioned hunting in those stock fields like that, where there's corn, or we were hunting sunflowers this weekend a bunch, and it's like hard enough to hit them with the rangefinder at distance. Now trying to navigate between the
Find an open spot to get a
Oh,
good
yeah.
range in there, so we get a good range in there, and then image quality is degraded just a little bit. And I was like, I don't know if we'll include this footage later or not, but I'm like, still it still kind of shows the utility of rangefinder and where to put something on, especially when the target is extremely small. And I did have to rush my shot, so I did gut him a little bit. I didn't quite hit him up high enough. I hit him a little bit low, but I mean a little bit further back than I wanted to. But trying to get on
when
him
they're
as
this
fast as I
big, it
could.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the target area, yeah, it's this big at 200 yards. So it was like I'm not used to shooting, and I'm sitting here in the rack, and of course the rack in the like I'm on a terrace, so I'm like this.
Yep.
I'm also on like angled down, so I don't know. I was pretty
how it
impressed with
goes.
myself with no witnesses.
Yeah,
If it wasn't recording, nobody believed me. That kind of a deal,
Well, he showed me, and I'm like, that damn, literally looked like a fox out there.
Yeah.
And it was just a little coyote.
Dude, a fox is a tough target. You put somebody on a
Yeah, all
fox hunt.
fur.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The kill zone on a fox is about the size of a Coke can
Yeah.
when they're face on.
It's like,
And it's like, and then and then everyone tries not to blow them up too, especially
Yeah,
doing any
shooting a
competition
tiny little
stuff.
bullet.
yeah,
Trying not
that's
to
the
blow
hard
'em
part.
up.
Yeah, we shoot those 40s at them, and it does good on the fur, but it's like if you don't hit them square, you're gonna have
Well, them
trouble
things are
picking 'em
tough,
up.
man. Them things are tough little
Yeah,
suckers. So you better hit them square on like you need to. If not, they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna run off. And the messed up part is you'll hit them. You think you'll hit them good, and they'll run off, and they'll go sit at the tree line and bark at you.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
It's
And
kind of
tell
like
all the
they're
other-
laughing at you.
Get
Tell all the other
aggressive.
Yeah.
foxes to stay away.
Yeah, it's like
Till
they're
that
laughing
mate.
at you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, there's one deal and one topic that I wanted to cover. You kind of wanted to BS just a little bit here, kind of getting into things, talking about kind of some of the Nocpix products. But we've have a lot of questions about people calling us and asking about, do you still got some of them IRAs? That is probably a weekly occurrence.
got any of them IRA
constantly.
bolts?
Yeah,
IRA
any of them
bolts?
IRAs. So we're going to kind of discuss how the transition of product over the last year. And we have a bolt unit here.
The OG, man. This used to be one of my favorite units.
Yeah, so this is your favorite.
I
This
ran
is your
the shit
Still
out
is.
of that unit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still a good scope.
So
I keep
we-
one in the safe.
So we have the Bolt TH50C here. So this was the 50mm 640 with the circular display when they released these. Of course, you got the TL35, and then we still have the TX60 now, still available here for just a little while longer as they're making their transition into all of the Nocpix branded stuff. So think of our GM Chevy type deal, kind of getting rid of the Chevy label and going over to the GM label. But these units, there's some big differences I want to kind of like point out between if you still have a TH50C, like this is someone's trade-in unit that we took, and then someone had already purchased this, so we try not to scuff it up. And
Yeah,
pass
he
the
may be
sucker
watching,
around.
man.
Yeah.
It's going out the door here today, so.
Yeah, and you see LRF, here on here as an external deal where you added a LRF. They added a battery extender to essentially get to the battery longevity of what the Aces have. So I'm gonna let you kind of hold that sucker there.
Yeah, and I didn't
Let y'all kinda
realize.
talk about how
It'll
the
run
bolt-
on 18500s or 18650s with that extender there.
Yeah, and that was the nice part about it, because, I mean, 1850s were cool, but, 18650 is more common.
Yeah, and
that's
it's
why I
better
always told
battery life.
people.
longevity.
Yeah, but it also does have the internal battery as well. So, you can run a power bank to it. You can swap batteries in the field without losing it. And that's a feature that we carried over into the Ace lineup.
So with your Ace, when we look at improvements, when people call us, there is a lot of changes between the TH50C over to the new Ace line series. And a lot of that is we're dealing with new sensor. So we have improved image quality with that sensitivity level now with a new sensor. And the display was 2560 by 2560 in here. It's the same thing carried over into the Ace and the Nocpix brand. but we now have a magnifier here in the eyepiece right here where you can optically zoom into the display. And it's a 1:3. It's kind of the best way to look at that. And so they've improved. Essentially, I would like to say, improved in the front and the sensor, improved in the back and the display.
Yeah.
And then
Improved in the middle as well.
Yeah, stronger battery life,
sitting
that
here.
easy access door to
said,
pop it
I'll show
open
that one.
and field swap right there.
Yeah, and that was the cool thing that I thought was very cool about the new Ace series is instead of making having to run a battery extender, they just built it all in one. So no more battery extender. It's compatible right out of the box with the 18650 battery. So that was, like I said, they made the front adjustments, the back adjustments, and even the middle with upgrading to that 18650 out of the box. And that was the nice thing.
Yeah, we listen to the customers and what they're running and what they want, and I will give it to our counterparts overseas. They do a really good job. The engineers do a really good job of listening to what the people want, and they're asking us who are out in the field, hey, what are you hearing? What are people after? And they really take that into consideration and try and put it in the updated products.
And the other nice thing too is you see how the rangefinder is hanging off the side. It's an external unit that is compatible with the TH50C. And like Thomas mentioned, the counterparts overseas, they built in the rangefinder inside of the front bell housing of the new Ace H50R series. So no more rangefinder hanging off. Everything is now built in internally. It's all integrated. Has the ballistics calculator software. Has all the good stuff. And so, there were some people out there that they loved the concept of the external rangefinder hanging off the side and, being able to adjust it where they wanted to. But then there was also as many people, complaining about it, saying how it wasn't, as accurate. And so that was a nice
They bump
thing.
it, move it,
Yeah.
having to worry about another battery system on the LRF.
Yeah, putting it right in the lens there eliminates the issue of beam divergence. So it's going right where your scope's pointed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's got an auto feature in there that shows you where that laser comes set from the factory, so there's no guesswork.
That makes it nice. And that, like I said, that was the nice thing about it is everything's all built in. You don't have to worry about any bumping of the unit, adjustments or anything. It's all built in. And so they do have the model without the rangefinder that is a little bit cheaper than the H50R. That model is called the H50, and then the one with the rangefinder is called the H50R. So they do have two models available.
And we talked about advising people on the right scope, for different applications. If you're shooting a 22-250 or a 22 Creed or one of these like hot rod 6s or whatever, something that's flat and fast, maybe you can get away without the rangefinder, unless you're hunting unknown open field like cornfields like we were talking about. But if you're running something,
I go to the same places. I know I know it is. Like you can get on Onyx and say, I know that fence line's 200 yards and I can make that shot every day, all day.
Yeah, if you're running something in the high 3000s and it's just flat and fast, hold fur, then a lot of times you don't even need the rangefinder. You can get away without it.
Yeah, because there is a little bit of a price difference. So we said, what are we looking at now?
You're 4,800 to 6,500.
Yeah,
A price
between
point
the two.
wise,
Between the two, but they are the same scope. You have that LRF capability.
Yeah, that's the only difference in the features is one has the rangefinder version, the other one doesn't. So you're looking at 4,800 without it, 6,500 with it.
Now, the only thing I think between the TH50C that I do think we had some complaints about that I just kind of forgot that we kind of forgot to cover here. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go backtrack on y'all. The threads, they always complained about getting the caps back on to the TH50C. They essentially did a hideaway port, like almost like I would say like a dust cover type port to expose the USB-C to charge it, and then you turn it and it opens up, you close it off, and nothing can get accessible in there to charge this scope for the internal battery. And so I was like, that's a pretty awesome feature. And there is no longer screwing any caps anywhere on this thing.
Yeah, it's got a hinged battery door on the external side.
Hinge
you
over
wouldn't.
here.
You
And so
would.
we're
You
spring-loaded
wouldn't
on
believe,
there.
Jason, how many of those caps we replace in warranty.
I can imagine they didn't
we
tighten
get-
them down, or they
Yeah,
didn't.
that's right.
They wore out the
Losing
cap.
something.
Well,
Always
the nature of what we do is all in the dark, right? And you're trying to fumble with a screw-on cap if you don't get it seated
yeah.
right. I could see people dropping it in the mud, the grass, not having a light on them to check.
It's always something.
Yeah, that's right. So we eliminated that with the upgrades in the ACE battery system.
No parts to fall off. No
Yep.
parts.
Yeah,
That's right.
so this is the equivalent, but essentially it's nothing besides it being 30 mil on the tubes. There's really nothing that's the same for the most part. I mean, everything it went upgraded all the way through when y'all kind of transitioned between Infiray Outdoor, the Irayusa stuff, to the Nocpix brand.
Yeah.
I mean, you just took everything and improved everything.
And even
that's
though
on
they
there.
both have that 2560 display, the eyepiece has something to do with the user's experience as well. So looking through these side by side, I think the Ace does have a little bit more forgiving.
I see a little more vividness is
Yeah,
probably the best definition that I could find within the Ace
So
versus the TH50C.
that eyepiece is magnifying it to the shooter's eye, right? Just how the ocular zoom works, right? And so both of those have a feature where it's blowing it up to the user's eye from that display, and so it's just going to look fractionally different. And I do think that Ace has maybe a superior user experience from the shooter side.
Yeah, because I mean, we sold a ton of the Bolt TL35s and TH50Cs. I mean, we know a lot of those units are out there.
Irayusa bolts, baby. That's what they call them. Irayusa bolts.
All the Irayusa bolts. But,
Hey, that's what got us here.
Yes,
that's right.
exactly.
Yes.
I said you built upon this, and they've even expanded more upon that. So if you are looking for an upgrade, look at that. Even if you look at your TL35s that you guys have some of the bolts, if you're still thinking, well, I'm okay with 384. I mean, that Ace L35, it doesn't have a laser rangefinder in it, but I mean, it's still a 35 millimeter 384, has a ton of stuff to it. I mean, it has that extra battery capacity just like we had right here. And then now it has an HD display versus just the standard display that the TL35 had. So
And it
you
has
have
that
an improved
ocular
display
magnifier.
and the optimal
That-
magnifier.
Yeah, so even though it does still have digital magnification, if you wanted to utilize that, just like the old TL35 and TH50, but most of the time I find myself, if you do need a mag in at all, it's just right there. It's super easy.
Yeah, everybody's so used to a variable scope. So, telling them that they have the option now
Yeah.
at the eyepiece, I mean, that's what everyone's gravitating to. I mean, that's what I use majority of the
Just
time.
like your LPVO or your day optic, it's very familiar.
Yeah,
It's quick and easy too. It's just
Yeah.
boom, boom. Same thing, similar like a daytime optic, like you mentioned, the LPVO, even a traditional 3x9. It's all within the same of each other. So most guys should be familiar with that. Once they figure out what it's all about.
Yeah, and that dual battery system in the Ace has been pretty solid too. So I find myself when I'm running the H50R that when it is time to swap, I'm not going into the internal battery at all. So I just go to the field with a couple.
Yeah, running the 18650 battery first.
Couple in my pocket, and that's good for, you're getting 3 to 5 hours depending on each 18650 based on your environmental conditions, of course.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of guys, you do ask the question of internal battery systems. You don't have to touch your internal battery system at all. If you don't want to, you take enough 18650s with you, you never have to touch it. You could keep that longevity of that internal battery system forever.
That's right. What it does do is it keeps the scope on while you're swapping batteries in the field, so you don't have to
hot
go.
swap.
Yep, exactly. And if you want to run a power bank right into it and never have to worry about it, it's got that capability too. I mean, that was the same with the TH50, but I know a lot of people who run like their Fat Boy tripod has a bank on it.
Bowl, that Revive charging bowl that they just plug that thing right in and you're cooking.
To be able to run it. So yeah, you guys running up north, or it gets extremely cold weather. I mean, you've got several different battery options here for something like the Ace line series. But I mean, you guys in this kind of transition, y'all released some new products and a lot of other cool things and features that are out there. But you guys are calling, asking, did Irayusa go somewhere? Irayusa's not going anywhere.
He's sitting right here.
That's right.
They're all right
He's
here.
sitting right here.
Irayusa is still doing all your warranty work. Everything is done over here, and it's now Louisville.
That's right.
Moved over to
Texas.
Louisville.
Yeah,
Texas.
Irayusa is your stateside distribution for a global company, right?
All your customer service, all your tech support, everything's all over here.
Yeah, when you're calling us, you're talking to people in Texas, people like you and I, And when you're sending in your scope for warranty, it comes to Dallas, and then it turns right back around to you in 5 days.
So there is one of the customer service reps that I will be joining you at SHOT Show for a couple drinks again, man. And I'm sorry for last year, but I will take you out for a couple more drinks, man, when we get back out there.
Yeah, you gotta. If he's watching this, you gotta tell him to give you more than a couple drinks.
Yeah, no, Shane and I had a good old time. We were ready to roll, man. He was good. I like that old boy over there.
That's one thing that does make us a little bit different. So, like when we went to the global summit, Nocpix is a global company. They have got other arms in other countries, right? And we were able to share how we do all of our post-sale care in-house, and that's something that stands out because a lot of people aren't able to do that. They have to outsource that. So the fact that we're able to do it means that we get your scope back to you faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They don't
being
go
able to
anywhere
handle
else
it,
but
go through
there,
it,
but
revise
to
it,
the man.
Revise it and look through it. Now, that being said, being an international brand, not everything you see on the international Nocpix website is available here in the United States. There
That's
are
true.
certain things that are brought over here that sell, and there's certain things you see on the international side that don't necessarily sell very well here in the U.S., so they're not going to bring those things over.
Yeah. So we're hunters. We go out, we use this stuff, we test it, and you can rest assured that if it's in our lineup being sold by Irayusa, it's something that we've endorsed. And so they may be selling things to other parts of the world that we just have decided for whatever reason not to pick up here. And that's just because we're catering to the specific U.S. market.
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of questions on clip-ons. Do you want to know how many clip-ons we sold? Yeah, I could probably count on my fingers, toes, how many clip-ons we really sold.
Yeah.
And it's not a huge market in the U.S. A lot of people are dedicated. The clip-ons just don't do what people want them to do. They kind of want it to be this universal optic. And when you start going through all those things, like, oh, it doesn't do all these things that I'm wanting to do. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Well,
And-
there's a misconception that a clip-on, you just stick it in front of your day optic and go to town. Like, you might get lucky, but most of the time it's not like that.
no.
There's what we call
You're
a
a very rare case.
Yeah,
of
there's
that
a
working.
collimation procedure that you have to basically line that screen up with your daytime crosshairs. And that can be done effectively, but it may not be quite as precise, especially out at distance, as a
Yeah,
dedicated
and a lot
optic.
of people expect precision shooting with clip-ons,
Mm-hmm.
and we're dealing with a sensor, we're dealing with a processing unit, and then we're dealing with a display. I mean, you're not getting that type of performance that you normally would with your daytime optic. Man, my daytime optic, I'm doing 1,000 yards or whatever. It's like, that's great.
Awesome.
Well, there's just
That's great, but unfortunately, you're dealing still in the digital world no matter what, even if you
Yeah.
go clip-on. And by the time we kind of explain that, we're like, the utility that you would get if you're wanting, I know your rig's a $5,000 gun, and I know you're probably running a $4,000 daytime scope on there. But I'm going to tell you right now, you've got all that money built into that. Yes, if you went and go and buy you a 1280 scope, you're going to get more utility out of that dedicated scope than you are a 50 millimeter 640 clip-on.
Yep. But that's the hardest part, is getting them to understand it, because, like you mentioned, they think it's as easy as throwing that, $3,000 5640 clip-on in front of their $4,000 scope, and it's all going to, translate through that $4,000 scope, and then they're able to shoot, as far as they were shooting, before the clip-on. It doesn't work that way.
No, there's just
That's the
more
hard
moving.
part.
There's more moving parts. You
Yeah.
can set it up in a way that's plenty capable. I killed a pig with our RH25 clipped in front of a loophole 3 to 14 last night. It was like on 3.5 power, and you can get it done. Now, is it maybe the same experience as shooting with something like the Ace?
No.
No.
Not at all.
No,
I was gonna
no,
say,
and that's the whole thing is expectations, right? Expectations of our potential customer, what they want it to be and what they want to do, and you don't want to. We're not trying to poo-poo and doo-doo on all your ideas, man. It's like we just want you to know what you're getting into going down the line, and then why Nocpix and Irayusa may not bring on certain products here in the U.S. because it's just not for our market here.
And that's one thing that you provide to these people is they can call you and get advised on this stuff because you guys are out running it in the field. Right.
Yeah, it's like what's the utility and things that we're going to do over here is like a lot of the Europeans run a lot of clip-ons. But they're not allowed to go run AR style rifles or bigger chassis rifles and things like that. They don't have a lot of that stuff.
they don't
over
get
there.
all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't get all the cool stuff we do.
Maybe
over
if
here.
they get the cool stuff on the Nocpix side on their side, but they don't get the benefit of running the ARs and the fancy chassis guns and things like that.
Well,
So
there's the other aspect of like a lot of these scopes come with really good QD mounts. The thermals come from the factory with our in-house quick detach mounts. And so if you put a good return to zero mount on your day optic, you can reasonably go back and forth. If you did want to dedicate one gun to 2 jobs, you could potentially put some, we sell D-Lock now.
Yeah, that's
and-
to say, if you went to the D-Lock or Bobro,
Yeah.
American Defense is okay, but I am kind of more on the D-Lock Bobro fan of, a true real return to zero. If you are going to be like, I need this precise, I do kind of have my preference.
Yeah. So I used to travel with a day gun and a night gun just because I didn't know what I was going to get into. And now instead I can keep a D-Lock on a LPVO and I can travel with one gun and just take my I run a lot of gas guns like you do, and I run that RH50R and it returns to zero every time. I've never had to resight it. And then same thing with the D-Lock. I can just swap that. So if I am in a pinch, I can run in the daytime.
both. Or
Yeah.
essentially you can do both at one. If you
exactly.
wanted to, or daytime, you got your daytime scope set up. And
Just-
night
And
guns,
that's
you
hard
swap
for a
it
lot of
around.
guys to hear. They don't want to do that, but I would say there are some modern technologies. There are some things out there that you can do. you know,
It's a lot of guys
about
just,
it.
you know,
it's hard.
you
It's
know-
hard to break some of those habits.
No, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I used to shoot precision stuff, and it's against everything I stand for to move scopes on and off of a rifle and not
Yeah, it's like
zero it.
it's like the curse. Like they're going to be cursed forever if
Yeah.
you take this scope off and put it back and
just-
it returns to zero. They're like, oh my god, it's supposed to not work
Well,
that way.
it's like it's the unknown too. It's like I keep taking this on and off. Surely it's going to make a mistake at some point, but I've yet to find a failure.
like I
point
tell
there.
people,
Those heavy spring-loaded systems,
yeah,
it's different.
Like I tell people, that's the job of the mount.
Yeah,
It's supposed
exactly.
to return to zero. It has one job, and if it doesn't do the job, there's something wrong
Well-
with it. Send it in, get it fixed or replaced, and you know it's meant to do that job. It's going to do that job.
As long as it's in the same position on your rail or on your your mount, then it comes down to torque spec. And a lot of these spring-loaded mount systems, like you're talking about, it's toolless, right? You don't have a torque spec value that you have to get to with a wrench. You can just cam it over, and it goes right back to where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, it's been a crazy time. It's been a lot of fun, you know, with all the new optics, all the new things that are coming out. I mean, there is a lot of cool stuff. I want to say one thing that I do want to mention, you know, when we do look at all the new Nocpix branded stuff that is out here now, we're getting kind of blown up right now as far as handhelds. We're selling a lot of Nocpix handhelds right now. You guys kind of have that exclusive right now to having the only handheld in the Vista line having an HD display, 2560 by 2560 display in a handheld, a big, huge, wide field of view with a big, vivid display. And y'all are very unique in that. I know you'll have a sale on the H50R right now because some people had issues with like the 4-base mag.
Right.
But we're big fans of running the Vista 35R at 3.
Yeah. No, I
And
love the 35.
It's an awesome handheld scanner with a built-in rangefinder.
And if you're in the right environment, the 4X might be the right choice too. If you're hunting in the Panhandle or if you're hunting in
more
big
long-range
open
stuff.
country. Yeah, if you're in the West.
Well, I've kind of just made myself get used to it. You know, like I would take it out even here around wooded country. The thing that like I tell people is you never have, you know, an issue telling what that target is. Four base at 50 yards. I mean, yeah, you're right there on them. But hey, I know that's a cat, or hey, I know that's a fox, just because you got that 4-base, you know, magnification at a 50-yard range, and so there's just no misjudging. And the same thing at 250 yards, you know, without having to magnify, you've got that 4-base magnification. It's, oh, no, that's a coyote there. And so once it's like anything else. The more you use it, the more you get used to it. And so that's what, you know, same thing with the Quest H50R binoculars.
Thank you for saying the Quest. That was
Yeah,
the next thing I was going to say.
they're 4-base magnification, but they're 5640, you know, quality with the built-in rangefinder. It's just one of them things that you kind of make yourself get used to, because if you can do that, then there's not going to be any, you know, misjudging on your target. You know, you're going to know that that's what that is at that distance.
Yeah, the nature of what we're doing in the dark, you want to try and eliminate all the guesswork, right?
Yeah.
So if you're able to identify that target before you spend all the time and effort trying to get up on it and take a shot, then
That's
you're
what I like
helping
about
yourself.
it. But it's like I said, it's not an item for everybody. You know, not everybody's to the point where they want to get used to something different. They want what they're used to, and that's it.
But that said, we're talking about some of our higher magnification scanners, like the Lumi H35, 2.5 base, and that's awesome. I was scanning with that one last time.
That's our number. Yeah, that's our number one handheld, and that's actually my handheld of choice.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the HD display in it and the rangefinder.
No
I
rangefinder,
said
yeah.
I just need a simple handheld. I'm going to keep in my pocket and pull out, because I can put it in a pants pocket, a short. We're shorts and snake boots still down here, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
But and put it in my pocket, you know, be able to roll with it and go. But then again, lanyard mounting it and stuff like that, it's pretty lightweight. It's about the size of like a daytime
you could forget it's there. It's the size of a daytime rangefinder.
rangefinder. Yeah. So
Well, that's what I like about it too, is because the jacket, even when it gets cold, the jacket I wear has got the little the chest pocket. So I'm using it here. I keep that pocket open whenever I'm ready to go. I just throw it in there and I'm ready to go.
Same thing. Keep it from swinging around when
Yeah,
you're picking up
it's
the
so
call and
convenient
stuff.
for just for the size of it, you know. And then we've been here lately. A lot of the L19s and the P13s in the Lumi series have been starting to pick up for us.
the L19s and L35s.
Yeah, even the 256 one has been starting to slowly, pick up. But you know, they have like the L35 and the I just went blank. But
Well, the L19 and the P13.
Yeah,
So say you're a customer who's gone and spent all your money on a scope, and you've had it for a little while, and now you figured out that the only thing you can see is when you're behind the rifle, right?
Yep.
And your buddies are tired of getting flagged, you know, and you're like, man, the next thing I need is a scanner, but I can't justify $2,500 on it or
You
whatever.
can get in it to
now,
a reasonable
yeah,
price.
now we've got a Lumi P13. It's a good 256 fixed focus scanner, and again, eliminating guesswork, right?
That's right.
So I don't even have to think about it. You fire it up, you point it, and it tells you what's out there.
And then same thing with like the L19 and the L35.
L19, L35, all you're doing is you're just
Looking for a heat source. At
yeah,
that
well,
point.
I was going to say the L19 gives you an adjustable focus, which is an upgrade over the P13, and it's a 384 sensor, and then the L35 is a little bit more magnified.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're throwing out a lot of numbers in here, and there's several different models of the Lumi line series, so it is a whole series. And I will selfishly throw this out there when I say this is like the H35 is my favorite of that 2.5 35 millimeter 640, and it runs those 18650 batteries. They're easy swappable in the field. They're easy to keep there, and like $20 for a new one.
Yep.
And I was even pushing the engineers at Nocpix. I'm like, can you make me? I want an H35 Lumi with an LRF in it. I don't care about the display. I'm fine with the standard display. I don't care. Just throw me a little LRF.
It's out there. That's like you've been looking
throw
on
me
the
an
global
LRF.
website.
I said, throw me an LRF in there. And I'll be like,
words.
they're like, no.
He's
no.
over
We
there.
got the Vista. We got the Vista for that.
He's been surfing the website too much.
If you've got a rangefinder in your scope, you can get away with not having one in the scanner.
Without having,
you know,
and I think that's something we also forgot to mention as well. So, you know, the Vista's kind of being the big daddy, you know, of handhelds in the Vista, but we did not mention anything about Inlink at all.
Yeah, so the Inlink feature is pretty cutting edge technology actually,
Yes.
and it's like video game technology. I don't know how they've been able to make it work and
How are you
work,
carrying this controller?
and it's worked flawlessly. So
Yes.
right off the rip, and it would be something you'd think might have some growing pains, but no, they killed it. Basically, it allows you to take a non-range finding scope in the Ace or now the Slim lineup, and a range finding handheld, and actually transfer that range data to the scope. So say your buddy is spotting for you, you've got like a spotter shooter type of arrangement, and they're able to get a range range reading rather in your scanner or your Quest binos, your Vista scanner.
Yeah, I know. We forget about mentioning the Quest has the capability to port it over as well.
And they can, if you've got the Inlink set up, which works off of Wi-Fi, those two devices communicate with each other, and it will show you a little box that depicts what the scanner is seeing so that you can kind of orient yourself correctly. And it gives you the data, and if you have the actual range data itself in yards or meters, and if you've got the ballistics set up, it will give you the readout, and it will orient your reticle where it needs to be to
Give
take
you
a shot.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Gives
it's
you your
just like
holdover.
having like, you know, there's a Kestrel and Garmin and things like that. I mean, you do that on the daytime side where you have ballistic data being essentially drawn out to you. And then now you have that capability now essentially in the thermal world where someone is scanning something in thermal and giving that ballistic hit, or you're doing it yourself. You know, especially, you know, everybody's got a story of where there's a coyote hung up and they're just sitting there. They just go there and they're just sitting out there watching. It's like, send it, boys. You got that handheld
might
out,
as
throw you
well.
some data in there. It's like your H50 doesn't have a rangefinder. Get it from a Vista and then go ahead and send one out there.
Right.
Or if it's your L35, it's all right to have a handheld that's more expensive than your scope. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
But-
might as well.
or you got a buddy. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of guys, you know, I mean, there's a lot of solo guys out there, but there's a lot of guys that do hunt with buddies and stuff. It's like if your buddy's got a little more money than you, go convince him to go buy a Vista.
Yeah. Or if you
That way you can get a rangefinder.
Tell him if you're really the big money bags, you go get a Vista.
Or if you find yourself in your Ace L35 or your Ace H50 without the LRF, and you feel like you're missing out because you want that capability, you can buy a scanner with a rangefinder in it and be able to pair them. So
Yeah, I mean, because if you're looking at a scanner, you know, spend a little bit more and just be able to get some of that ballistic capability. That way you're not having to beg, borrow, trade, whatever, everything else. That you've got some options now to where you're not just kind of stuck with stuff. So you do have some things that you can utilize in the field. And then, you know, just, you know, I mean, there's one COD, there's only be one shooter, you know, a lot of times if you
Right.
go with buddies, and you just got a lot of scenarios where a lot of that stuff can help you, but it's just kind of a niche feature that y'all have exclusively. That's a big thing just for Noctix and the branded scopes. So
I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh yeah, no,
Actually,
it's
it
really neat the way
is.
that it works. And I was like, oh man, they're never gonna hook this thing up, man, it to work. But no, I actually got to set it up the first time. I didn't have any problem setting it up. I didn't have to call anybody, and it worked flawlessly.
Yeah, I remember when we were factory testing it at Irayusa, I was like, golly, this thing's slick. And
Yeah, it's
right
cool
off the
as
rip,
shit.
it
You
worked.
know, the hardest, or the thing is getting people to understand what it's capable of doing. You know, that's just like you got all these people, they're stuck in their ways. They don't want to try anything new. They're like, oh, it's just technology. You know, you get those guys, well, I don't want nothing that records, has any audio. No, I just want to turn on and shoot. You know, it's getting those guys to understand, hey, this is the next level technology. You know, you buy the unit without the rangefinder. Well, then you want something with the rangefinder, get the handheld, and then translate it all into the scope. And, it's just getting those guys to understand. You know, I think they're slowly starting to progress for the better. But
Because everyone's using a handheld,
Yeah.
and then if they're running solar, they're going from a handheld to the scope. If they're running a handheld, I mean, I see them, they're coming in. All right, I'm gonna go over.
Yeah, well, how many
Yeah.
times you've been in a situation where you're like, okay, you're watching him and you're like, okay, he's been moving. Where's he at now? And instead of coming off your
Yep.
rifle, your buddy can feed you that information.
it does happen a lot more. If you hunt enough, it happens a lot more times than
Yep.
often. And that's the thing about hunting. You know, if you do it all the time, you're going to have those scenarios come up. And where that feature could have been very beneficial for you.
So it is a unique feature. It pairs those two different devices, and it keeps it keeps people in the game, right?
That's what you're always wanting. You know, keep them active, keep them thinking, and keep something new out there to keep their interest. You know, that's the biggest thing.
Well, as we're looking at all the new fancy stuff, there is a bunch of sales going on as Infiray Outdoors kind of making their final change and switch over to everything being Nocpix. There are some sales on some hybrids.
That's right.
We got sell on Vista. We got sell on RL25 V2. So the little black little micro that's in 384. So there are some sales going on right now.
Lumi
here
L35
as we're going into
as well.
fall. And then the Lumi
Yep.
L35. So there are. We got some questions.
Y'all ever do any thermal nilgai hunting? And then
I don't hunt no horses.
Plenty of people
Yeah,
do.
it's like shooting a horse, isn't it? Shooting
Yeah.
an L guy. No.
um,
I've never been down there.
Justin Anderson says, ordered thermal today from y'all. Justin was very helpful and knowledgeable on the
Yeah, like an
Let's
employee of the
go.
year.
Let's go.
Yeah.
top-notch guy.
She left out the part where he said I get a raise for that.
He said you get a
She-
raise.
yeah, he
he
said I
gets a
get a raise.
compliment for the day.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And send him
That's
in the
right.
back. We're sending him back
No.
in the back room with no air
Now,
conditioning.
I saw him when we were setting up. He texted one of his buddies, said, "Hey, hop on the Facebook
Yeah,
feed."
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Throw me a compliment on
Tell
here.
him I need a raise. He said put some
Well,
good words out
we
there
are-
for me.
So our new store, we literally have like a room for Justin that is just his room.
That's
and,
right.
And
Be
I told him, I
napping.
said, I don't care what's in this room. I don't care what you do, as
Go.
long as work gets done.
I'm gonna go back old school and go get a bunch of posters of naked women and hang them in there.
Hey,
Just-
there ain't nothing wrong with
Yeah, I
that.
was
You can
gonna say,
sit there and
just-
have all the beer
just to do it.
posters in there, a
beer
couch and a
posters.
big old
Yeah.
TV.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
walking there, cigs inside, you know.
That's right.
Why does it smell like smoke in here and cheap women?
I was gonna say, the girls get the Cincy's with their crazy smells. I'm gonna go get one that has cigarette smoke
Yeah,
smell.
hey, plenty
Well,
of business been done in that type of
Yeah,
environment.
the fluorescent light's going to be changed out to them bar lights that hang over the pool table. You
Yeah.
know, that's what's going
That's
to be in
right.
there. Have a full-on pool table brought in through the door one day.
Yeah, but no, it's always fun talking to new people, getting people into the game. I could tell people, I was like, once you go out thermal hunting for the first time and you have some success, it's just like anything else, man. You're going to be addicted. That's how I got into it. That's how Jason got into it. I'm sure that's how Thomas got into it
Oh, yeah.
as well. It's like you said, it's like anything else. That adrenaline gets to flowing. You shoot a coyote, you shoot a bobcat, fox, coon, anything. And it's just, you're sold on it.
I remember using a Q-beam spotlight that was curly wired to the cigarette
That's
lighter.
right, the
Seeing
OG.
seeing those yellow orange eyes pop up from 200-300 yards out.
So he thought it was the coolest technology when you had the 6-volt battery pack pouch that you could put on your stock on your rifle, run a cord, clip the red light to the top of your daytime scope, and we thought that was the coolest thing to have. We had a little filter flip cap if you were real
Shit, that
fancy.
was so
They were
fun,
like
man.
$500. I mean, it was expensive for a
I
light.
still got my OG, man. It looks like a tackle box. It's in a hard plastic case, and it's got a big old carrying case for your 12-volt battery. And then it's wired into a cigarette plug. And then I had my big old spotlight with the big curly tail on it. And you throw that booger over your shoulder, and you got your spotlight, and you're just sitting there running it, or you could run it hardwired into the cigarette lighter of the truck. But those times were fun. But it's crazy. Think back. that's what you used to do, and you'd snap your red filter on, doing all that. Now you just turn the scope on, and you can see for as far as you
it's
want.
advanced so much where I've got to go out more than I've ever had. Of course, we run this business full time, and we go out year round, and it's one of those things that I always tell people. These two guys aren't quite there yet, but I can put my kids to bed. They're in bed by 9. I could go out for 2 hours, still make it into bed, still get 8 hours of sleep, go to work the next day. But I can go out and hunt every night for 2 hours at least.
And keep you out of
At
trouble.
minimum.
Yeah, get into something, go out and have fun, and I'm staying out there out all the time.
In bed before midnight.
Yeah, that's the plan. Except for summertime, it's.
Oh, it starts late.
I'll be
Yeah.
in bed. No, I'll be in bed at 9, sleep till about
He's
2.
got these crazy ideas. I don't know how the hell he does it. He's like, we'll wake up about 1:32.
It's 100% success every time.
And then
That's
he's
right.
like, we'll hunt from 2 to daylight. And I'm like,
But when the sun goes
Shit.
down late, it takes you a while to get on them, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's 3 a.m.
Well, it's hot. It's all hot. Pigs and stuff aren't moving. It's like, hell, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think the coyotes are moving all that much in the early either because it's been so hot here. Now it's cooled off now, but it was there when I'm running around. And it's 91 degrees at night.
Yeah.
that's
Sun's
the problem.
down. It's like, and it didn't get anything cooler until 3-4 o'clock in the morning. But outside of that, I'm a little different. I used to run a job where I had to be on call and have to get up in the middle of the night. I can get up at 2 o'clock to an alarm, wake up, drink one of those Alanis and roll, and then I'll go for 3 hours and then go back and go sleep for about another 3 and get up and go run for a full day.
no, I'd rather stay up all day and hunt all night.
Yeah.
If I go to bed, as soon as my head hits that pillow, good luck. You're going to have to do something crazy
So
to get me up out of
The
bed.
new store, we'll give you a cot and we'll give you one of them camping showers out the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna set
everybody
up-
drive by and you be in the shower.
Yeah, I'm going to set up a little
The
fort
tent.
there and be like, oh, is that a shipping room? No, man, that's where he lives. He's going to stay there. He got a little shower. He got a little portable hot water heater. And a
Get
little
your
cot.
hot plate
No,
in there.
Justin, I know you're like me. I've seen a lot of sunrises from the wrong side.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'd rather do that. Like I said, if we leave here, hunt all night, I'll be good. Sun comes up, whatever. I can manage that. But if you make me go to bed at 9 and wake up at 2, and
It's
then,
hard to do.
Then go back. I can't go back to bed.
Hard to turn it on and off like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
easier
have
to
that.
just stay up.
Yeah,
Ride it.
I don't have that switch.
It's like getting home from these contests. You might drive 4 or 5 hours
yeah.
home after a
Oh, yeah.
weigh-in, and you hadn't slept in 30 hours. And
Yeah, you're just like this. It's like I better blink. I haven't blinked in
Yeah, you start getting
2
delirious.
hours.
We do all the weigh-ins, in these competitions and stuff. I always feel bad for the guys because, man, I can look at them just like some
Yeah,
of these
ragged.
Guys, well, I was like, some of these guys are older than me. I'm like, I'm surprised they haven't had a heart attack yet right out here. Sleep deprivation.
Oh yeah, that's the
And
crazy
they're out
part.
there running around. I was like, this year, I'm like, well, I guess we might just have coffee ready for everybody, get
Right.
everybody caffeinated.
Yeah, but that's the love for the sport, though. Man. You do it. If you didn't love it, you wouldn't be doing that self torture.
And
Yeah.
just because of the time of year, some of the conditions are really harsh, and that takes it out of you too. If you're
Wind,
up
rain,
at
cold
wind,
weather.
14 degrees, you're just wearing it in the face all
Well, I
night.
felt like the colder it got, the more tired I was when the sun came back up.
Yeah,
it's just
for
like
sure.
your body sat there, shivering. You're cold, even though you could put 100 layers on.
Yeah, then
you're
finally,
still cold.
finally you're comfortable again.
And then you're just-
Yep, you're back
oh
in the
my
truck.
God.
Sun's up. Yeah, and
You're dead.
It's
at
hard
that
to
point.
hard to stay awake.
Well, Jessica, Jessica, you around? Nope. Jessica's over
She's
here
hiding.
finishing up. She's over here working, getting everything all finished up for us. Oh dang, we went a lot further than I thought we would. Yeah, we are 55 minutes, boys.
No,
Sorry.
yeah, no, we're all
We got to talking, got down rabbit holes.
Oh man,
Yeah,
we
that's
could,
part of it.
we could go all day. I'm sure.
But
yeah.
a lot of awesome new products out there. So you guys, the Irayusa thing has not gone away. They're here. They've rebranded and transitioned everything over to Nocpix. A couple things are on sale just to kind of finish off a lot of that stuff going in the fall. So there's only one more thing I guess I need to ask you. Is there anything you can sneak out and tell us that is going to be launching here in the fall, or that you can hint to?
Hold on, let me make a phone call real quick.
Yeah, they like. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have approval from legal right now?
Yeah, they like to keep me in the dark on a lot of that stuff. I'll tell you, since we already announced it back at the NRA show, the hybrid compact is coming. That is going to be in the Infiray line, which is exclusive to the U.S. market. So Infiray Outdoor used to be global. Now they are exclusively through Irayusa in Lewisville, Texas. So if you're interested in if you liked our hybrid line, like the hybrid 75, the hybrid 50 640, the hybrid 50 384, if you like that line, we've got another one coming that's going to be a hybrid compact.
Yeah, a lot of cool features with that new one as well.
Integrated laser rangefinder and 10 micron.
First ever.
And 10 micron, yeah. So
5640.
that's the cutting edge technology part. Is no one's ever had a pixel pitch that was that fine, and what that accomplishes is as you're zooming in, that image is not going to degrade as much. You have more pixels to zoom in on.
And we're thinking maybe we're gonna probably get that late fall
Yeah, I would expect.
or 26.
You know how these things
20
go, but
we're gonna say 26, boys.
yeah,
Early
So
26.
don't hold off on making purchases.
Yeah.
You know, if you need something here in the
that's right.
season,
If it makes it
throw
by
on
Christmas,
26.
that'll be good.
Yeah,
Throw it
that'd
at
be nice.
26 and you won't be disappointed. And the thing is, you know, also with new products is you got to build up inventory and things like that. So, you know, maybe a little while, maybe not be quite right away, but you know, all the new stuff. I mean, essentially, you still have, like, when we look at all the things we kind of talked about, I mean, it's still got the newest sensors and 15 millikelvin sensors. I mean,
Newest
a lot of
technology
stuff,
and all of
1280s. I
them.
mean, all that stuff's available now. So, I mean, it's not like it's stuff hard to get. And then the biggest thing I always tell people is, like, if you're thinking about getting something, it's like, you need to get it now.
Yeah, these still
Don't try to get it in January.
These still have Infiray sensors in them. The image you've known to love, right? So, yeah, don't be.
I've literally seen the same engineering guys, so I can tell you, I've
Mm-hmm.
literally met with those people. They are the same people.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
just the shirt just says Nocpix now.
It's
on
coming
it,
from
you
the
know?
same place. Rest
Yes,
assured,
the
you're
same
buying a good
people,
product.
same marketing people. A lot of people from overseas and international teams. It's all the same people, you guys.
Yep.
So
Nothing to be
we always
worried
get
about.
some of that confusion, you know, when people want to call us, especially when they've had one of y'all's products before.
Right. Well, it's good that it has a reputation.
Yeah, I want this same quality. I want this. I have this. I like this. Where is this? I want to do this again. You know, what's new? And so, yeah, we do spend some of the times educating, which is perfectly fine, guys. So sorry, no one's saying like I'm complaining about anybody, but you know, it's just we try to just make sure we educate people that, you know, hey, they made this transition to the same thing, still going to the same place. Your TH50C is going to the same place to get repaired as your Ace line Nocpix. It's going all the same place doing it if there ever is an issue.
The educating is half the fun because we get to go out in the field and learn about the stuff, and then you get to advise somebody and make sure that they enjoy the product that they get in. So it saves people a little bit of trial and error, right?
Yeah, so make sure they're getting what they want to do. It's like, hell of a time to upgrade and things and check out all the new technology. But
particularly with those new handhelds. You know, if you've been on the fence about getting a handheld, that Lumi P13, Lumi L19, 2X, 256, and 384.
yeah, I said y'all have offered a lot of handhelds this year, and so that's kind of like, you know, I know we spent a lot of time talking about it, but it's just like there's a lot of cool stuff that's out there right now for the fall.
Oh yeah, tons
and
of
all that
new
stuff's
things.
available, and you know, it's just there's a lot of this neat stuff that's out there that we did not have access to before. We had little iterations of it. You know, we've seen some companies essentially kind of just fall off and disappear this past year, and you guys have come up, and you know, everyone's like, I don't have that Nocpix money.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, they have plenty of products. They
Yeah.
have tons of stuff
Yeah.
out
Or you
there.
can get you in
Go
something,
look
don't worry.
through what is it that you need. Let's look through it. Let's figure out what's going to work for you. I was like, it may not be as bad as you think, but you know, they consider you guys to be a really high end brand, and I think Gulf kept going with that. And then, you know, it's been great quality products here that you guys been putting out.
Yeah.
So
And if you get it now, you can have it in time for deer camp, right?
That's right. I was
yeah,
gonna
you can go
say.
show everybody's dick measuring contest can all start early this year.
That's right. Go ahead and get it in before deer season starts. Man.
Egos are inflated when you run in there with your new gun.
Yeah, that's how it rolls, though.
Well, guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us here, and I'll let Justin close it out here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate you, Thomas, for coming on, stopping by on a Monday here.
Thank you.
Make sure you go back, check us out on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Check out our Hunting After Dark podcast. If you have any questions, give us a call here at Feral Texas Outdoors. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.